Today we are looking at a CNBC news segment about the new weight loss drug. A drug that is being celebrated as a new breakthrough. But before we talk about the drug itself, we need to ask bigger questions. How did we get to the point where injecting people with expensive medication is considered innovation, while teaching people how their body truly works is considered outdated? Because this isn't just a story about weight loss. It's a story about incentive, responsibility, and a society that keeps looking for shortcuts while ignoring the fundamentals. Let's break it down.
It's been 5 years since the FDA approved Novo Nordisk's GLP-1 shot Wegovy for weight loss, and that shot and a similar one from Eli Lilly called Zepbound have transformed the treatment of obesity, helping people lose a significant...
The treatment of obesity. Did you hear the chosen words here? The treatment. That's not a treatment. That's a coping mechanism. Essentially, the body is already so unhealthy, so overwhelmed and overloaded with crap, and now you're injecting poison that's hijacking the system in order to make it lose weight. This is not a fix. This is not helping. It's just poisoning your body.
Amount of weight. The drugs are also used now to treat other conditions like sleep apnea and heart problems. Behind these shots, Lilly and Novo have just started rolling out pills, and there are dozens more drugs behind them, including the most powerful drug we've seen yet, Lilly's retatrutide. I went to the premier obesity meeting, the American Diabetes Association.
Look how fucking happy they are, because it's gonna make fucking billions of dollars.
Associations to get a look at what else is inside the pipeline.
Fuck me.
Novo and Lilly introduced GLP-1 pills earlier this year, and signs of the competition between those two heavyweights were all over the conference. Novo had cars decked out with Wegovy pill ads driving outside the convention center, while Lilly's Foundeo ads were plastered on the floor. And more pills could be coming. I caught up with Ray Stevens, the CEO of Structure Therapeutics, which shared phase 2 data showing that its pill could help people lose about 16% of their body weight. That's similar to the Wegovy pill.
Well, in the research, I think they've shown that a big percentage of that weight loss is actually muscle. It's the part that you don't want to lose.
Though Structure's pill is closer to Lilly's pill Foundeo in that it's a small molecule, not a peptide. So those are easier to make, and they can be taken like most other pills that people are familiar with. I asked Stevens if there's really going to be room for new pills by the time Structure reaches the market in a few years, assuming that...
Let's make it clear, guys. Look at humanity. Look at where we're at. Clearly what we need is not another fucking pill. I thought that was pretty clear.
That drug succeeds in the phase 3 trial that will start later this year.
Who wins at the end of the day with competition? Patients. And that's really what this is all about. We're pushing really hard to get into that second position behind orforglipron. And what I'm also excited about is...
Exactly. You know what they said? It's a competition. It's all a race for money. Whoever is going to be brainwashing and squeezing the most profit out of those fucking sick people has nothing to do with your health or your well-being. They don't give a shit. They're just excited about the amount of fucking money you're going to make. God damn it. Why are people so fucking dumb enough to fall for that shit? Seriously.
Besides the GLP-1 space, we're continuing to see innovation. We think that oral small molecules are really the solution.
The data that stole the show? Lilly's retatrutide.
They want to make it oral because injecting yourself is a pretty invasive for most people. So just swallowing a little pill will make it much easier, right? Instead of just addressing your fundamentals of health.
That experimental drug is a triple agonist, so it turns on 3 hormone receptors, GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon. Lilly's current shot, Zepbound, is a dual agonist that activates the GLP-1 and GIP receptors, and the thinking was that adding glucagon would result in even more weight loss. And retatrutide delivered. People lost an average of 28% of their body weight at the highest dose when they stayed on the treatment, and nearly half of people lost more than 30% of their body weight, and that's the level that's associated with bariatric surgery. That's the most weight loss that we've ever seen a drug produce to date, and I could hear someone behind me audibly reacting to the results. But the drug is so powerful, it probably won't be used as broadly as Zepbound.
This is so bad. Actually, these drugs, what they do is they play with your hormone signaling of hunger. This is so terrible. It's creating absolute chaos in your system. It's pure poison. So let's face it, you're eating poison, your body gets overweight and sick, and now you're taking on more poison to force your body to do what it didn't want to do in the first place because of your shitty lifestyle. 2026, that's where we're at. That's where we're at, humanity. That's where we're fucking at. We are so drugged up, so addicted that we can't even take fucking responsibilities for ourselves and our health. Bravo.
Wegovy.
People with higher body mass index, higher body weight, where a product like Zepbound, is incredibly effective, but 8% of our country is BMI over 40, and even if you're at that level and you have an average response to Zepbound, you're not going to be healthy body weight. With retatrutide, we showed what's possible, which is a meaningful, almost half the people lose more than 30% of their body weight. So if you do start at a higher level, you can really get to a more healthy state, which is everyone's goal, I think.
Now the question facing all the other companies developing obesity drugs is how much room there really is for more medicines. In the presentation for Pfizer's experimental monthly GLP-1 shot, a doctor showed a slide of dozens of drugs in the pipeline that could be available in 2029, around the time when Pfizer's drug might launch. Novo CEO Mike Dustar shared some of his thoughts on how the treatment of obesity might change in the coming years and what that means for Novo.
Most people consider obesity as synonymous with weight loss. I think that is too narrow and too simplistic. If I think about 20, 30, 40 years ago, if you would have said mental health, people would have probably labeled that as one thing. Today, that's depression to bipolar to schizophrenia to many, many different issues with very distinct different medications.
Of course, this is the typical bullshit of modern medicine. Over separating and compartmentalizing every single fucking diseases. Doing an overdiagnostic of so many issues so they can sell you each their own unique drugs. This is the perfect business plan. But most of the illnesses, most of the issues we have today can be broken down back to some fundamentals of health. I forbid you to go take drugs or go look into those fancy random modern medicine before you nail the fundamentals. If you have mental issues, if you're obese, if you're depressed, if you have digestive issues, if you have skin issues, do the fundamentals. Fuck.
And support for the patients. We review obesity that way. I think we're going to be very diversified, but all of it within the area of cardiometabolics per se, diabetes, obesity, cardiometabolic, and some of the adjacencies.
One angle that some companies are pursuing is drugs with fewer side effects, and that's the premise of a drug from Zealand Pharma and its partner Roche. Called petrelintide, that experimental drug is an amylin analog, meaning that it mimics amylin, which is another hormone that's produced in the pancreas, and it makes you feel full. In a phase 2 study, the weekly shot helped people lose about 11% of their body weight. That's lower than Wegovy and Zepbound, but Zealand thinks that it has the edge on side effects, particularly vomiting.
Is vomiting one of the side effects? If you look at those boxes, often the side effects are just endless. I'm really curious, guys. What do you think about all this? Do you think we're heading in the right direction, or do you think we need to go back to more ancestral methods? Also, has any of you experimented with any of those GLP-1 drugs or any weight loss or fat loss drugs? I'm very curious to see what your experiences are. Please comment down below.
Thinks that tolerability will be crucial in the next decade.
When these amylin launches, we can have that, what I've described as an iPhone moment, because patients are so aware of the experience they have on a GLP-1, and once you launch a new modality that gives you a better experience, we think people will queue up to get access to that new weight loss medication rather than staying on the more cumbersome medicines.
Of course they'll queue up because they're a bunch of addicted, brain-dead NPC slaves that are too far gone to even try.
Then you have companies like Pfizer and Amgen pursuing shots that don't need to be taken as frequently. Amgen's testing monthly and even quarterly dosing of its experimental drug called Maritide.
There's many different reasons why patients come off therapy, and injection, of course, once a week, or even I know there's benefits out of orals, but again, that's a daily burden of remembering your disease. And so we think
oh my God, she didn't say. Obesity is not a disease. Obesity is a symptom of you living a shit life.
Being able to dose less frequently may give an advantage there.
There's so much happening in the weight loss space, and we'll be tracking updates on all of these developments in the years to come.
All right, guys, this is so messed up. I know I come up as pretty abrasive, but this needs to change. Somebody has to shake things up because we're heading into a black hole which has no fucking return from. This capitalistic, brain-dead fucking slave mentality has to change. At the end of the day, none of that is gonna get humanity healthier. If you lose weight naturally, yes, it means you would have done the hard work and you would have paid attention to what the rules of nature are. But if you just take a drug like a shortcut, yeah, you might lose some weight or even muscle, but you won't be healthier. You're poisoning your body. You will still get diseases. So please, guys, share in the comment. At the end of the day, I just want to help people. I just want to bring awareness that we don't need to use these fucking drugs, and we don't need to give money to those corporations that have no interest into your well-being. So please, if you feel out of whack with your fundamentals, just leave a comment. I will do my best trying to answer every question and maybe perhaps guide you in the right direction. Guys, once again, thanks for watching.